आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मा स्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् न व्यदश्रुतेः अस्तितो गौणी असंभवात्। न वियत् अश्रुतेः न खलु आकाशम उत्पद्यते। न वियत् मीन्स न वियत् उत्पद्यते न खलु आकाशम उत्पद्यते। The proposal here is pratigna is that is akasha is not created, is uncreated, is nityam, is eternal. Why do you say that? Kasmat ashrutehe. That's the hetu. Nahi asya utpatti prakarane shravanam asti. Vedanta Ekadashi says that the utpatti prakarane, in the context of creation, we do not find akasha or space being mentioned as the element that is created. Resorting to the Chandogya Upanishad, which describes the creation beginning with Teja or the element fire. So when the Vedanta Ekadashi said that, the Purvapakshi says Astito. But in that, so Shrutyantare tu asti. Alright, Ma nama akashasya chandogye bhut utpatti. You're right, that in Chandogya Upanishad, there is no mention of creation of space. Shrutyantare tu asti. Another Shruti, namely the Taittiriya Upanishad, definitely there is this mention. तस्माद्वा एतस्मात् आत्मनः आकाश संभूतः. From that Brahman, which is the self, Akasha was born. So Akasha got created. Akasha was born. So it very clearly says that Akasha Sambhutah, the space was born, meaning space is created. So the point of Purvapakshi is that, which means that there is Vipratisheda, mutual contradiction or internal contradiction in the Shruti itself. Therefore, Shruti is not Pramanam. So this is the point that the Purvapakshi is driving at. and different reasons were given. So, the Vedanti said that even though Chandogya does not specifically mention Akasha, but you can, by inference, you can say that Akasha must have been created. Then the answer is given, how can one creator do two things? Create Akasha as well as fire. So how can they be done two things? One creator cannot simultaneously create more than one thing. So then proposal is given, why not that the creator created them one by one? First he created Akasha, then he created space. Why not that way? Says no, but Chandogya says that the Teja, the element fire, is created first. That being the case, there can be two first things. Suppose you want to say that the creator simultaneously created Akasha and fire together. Then also what happens is that the Taittiriya says that the fire or Agni was created from Vayu, Vayu Agni. Also the Chandogya says the fire is created first. So if you say and that there can be two first, only one thing can be first. So it is difficult to reconcile between these two Shrutis, and therefore there is a contradiction between the two Shrutis, therefore the Upanishad is not Pramana. So that Ekadeshi comes back again and gives another proposal. Gauni asambhavat. So, nasti vyatah utpattihi ashrutehe. Again we say that really space is not created because the Upanishad doesn't mention. Yato itara vyat utpattivadini shruti udahuta sa gauni bhavitam arhati. So this statement in Taittiriya Upanishad that from Atma Akasha was created or Akasha was born, it should be taken in a secondary sense, not in a primary sense. You should not take the meaning literally. Why? Why not? Even the Upanishad says that asambhavat, because it is not possible that space can be created. The space does not possess the requisite samagri to be created. नहीं आकाशस्य उत्पत्ति संभावयितुं शक्या श्रीमत् कणभुग अभिप्रायानुसारेषु जीवत्सु. Look, as far as the creation is concerned, the Kanadas or Vaisheshikadas, the authorities to tell us how creation can take place. And what do they say? Tehi kana samagri asambhavat Akashasya utpattim varayati. The Vaisheshika say Akashasya utpattim varayati. They negate or set aside the utpatti, the creation of Akasha, on the ground that there is no adequate samagri, no adequate material or the causes available for the space to be created. Samavai, asamavai, nimitta karanebhyo hi kila saram utpadyamanam samutpadyate. That whatever is created is found to be created when these three causes are present. So samavai, asamavai, nimitta. Samavai means inherent, intrinsic. Asamavai, not inherent, except incidental. And nimitta, the instrumental cause. Just as in the creation of cloth, you require this samavaya karanam, the material cause, inherent cause, which is the yarn or the thread. You require a samavaya karanam, the sanyoga, the conjunction or the joining of the threads, union of the threads, because then alone the cloth can be created. So that sanyoga, sanyoga means the contact or the union or conjunction of the different threads also is required for the cloth to be created. And Nimitta Karanam, of course, is the weaver is the Nimitta Karanam, and he requires his, instrument, the machines to create them. And what should be the nature of Samvaya Karanam? Dravyasya cha ekajatiyakam anekam cha dravyam samvaya karanam bhavati. The Samvaya Karanam, the material cause should be ekam, ekajatiyam, anekam. It must be ekajatiyakam, must be of the same class, at the same time consisting of many members. Like the yarn is the material cause for the cloth, so yarn is, there must be many yarns available. Ekajatiyakam, all the yarns must belong to the same category, there should be yarns, and there should be many. Then alone the sanyoga or association between them is possible. So only in Samvaya Karanam, the inherent cause is like this, like the yarn and the thread, which is of the same class and many in numbers, then alone a Samvaya Karanam, their sanyoga or their contact or union is possible. Nacha akashasya ekajadiyakam anekam cha dravyam arambakam asti. But we do not find any dravya, any material which can become the material cause for akasha, which satisfies this criterion, that it should be of one class and many members must be there, then alone they can join to create akasha or anything like that. Yasmin samvaya karane sati asamvaya karane cha tasyoge akasha utpadyate. We cannot conceive of any material of which akasha is made. And that material must be many in number so that they can unite with each other and thus create what we call space. We do not see anything like that. As far as the other elements are concerned, there are the atoms. And atoms are of the same class like Vayu, Agni, and many in number so that they can join with each other to create the gross element. In case of space, such a thing is not there. Tad abhavatu tad anugraha purvakam nimitta karanam duropetam eva akashasya bhavati. So when the samvaya and asamvaya, these two causes are not there, then nimitta karanam, which requires these two, that nimitta karanam is far fetched, and it's not possible. That's one thing. Second reason, asambhavat. First, asambhava is that the requisite samagri in the form of the three causes is not available. Secondly, asambhavat, prag abhava shunyatvat, because prag abhava, the prior non-existence of space also is not there. So how do you decide the prag abhava? When something is not there at this moment and then it comes into being, then you know that before this moment it did not exist. Like a pot did not exist before its creation. Therefore, the state of the pot before the creation is called prior non-existence or pragabhava. So that is a requisite condition for creation, that a thing should not exist before it came into being. If it existed before it came into being, then you cannot say it came into being. Therefore, prior non-existence is necessary for something to be born. And when something is not there, when space is not there, so what's the nature of space? to accommodate is the nature of space. So if space is not, so the space is created. That means that space did not exist before its creation. That means that accommodation is not possible at some point in time. Avakasha pradatru akasham, to accommodate is the nature of space. Like we know that space is because all the different objects are accommodated in space. If space was not there, then this accommodation would not be there. So did a time ever exist when things were not accommodated? Now according to Vaisheshikas, there are many eternal things, including the 5 elements also are eternal. The kala, the space and time also are eternal. Atma manaha, and the self and the mind, they are all eternal things. What does eternal mean? Eternal means that they always are there. And whenever something is there, it requires accommodation. That means that the accommodating space must have been there earlier also, otherwise how can they exist? And so we cannot imagine the prior non-existence in the space because accommodativeness always exists. So says, उत्पत्तिमतां च तेजः प्रभृतीनां पूर्वोत्तर कालयोः विशेष संभाव्यते. For example, fire. Now fire is definitely created. When can you say that? When there was a time when there was no fire. What happens when there is no fire? Then there is no light. Fire does 2 things. It illumines and it burns. That means that there must have been a time when the illumination was not there and when the heat or burning was not there, and then it came into being, then you can say that the fire is created. Pragutpatte prakashadi karyam na bahuva paschat bhavati iti. Give an example of teja, of fire. Pragutpatte prakashadi karyam na bahuva. So, the karya, the effect that the fire brings about, namely illumination, that did not exist before the creation of fire. So, there was a time when there was darkness and then fire came into being. Adipadat tamodvamsa pakayoho grahanam. When fire illumines, it also simultaneously dispels the darkness. At the same time, fire is hot, therefore it cooks things also. So this dispelling of darkness, cooking, etc., did not exist at a given time, and then they came into being. Therefore we say that the fire was created. Akashasya punah na purvottar kalayoho vishesha sambhavayitum shakyate. But as far as Akasha is concerned, space is concerned, the nature of space is to accommodate. You cannot imagine a time when accommodation was not there. Kim hi pragutpattehe anavakasham asushiram achidram babhoveti shakyate adhyavasadam. Is it possible for you to determine that utpatte prag, that before the creation of, suppose space is created, then before creation of space, there was a time when avakasham, accommodation was not there. So anavakasham, asushiram, achidram, a sushira was not there, chidra was not there, a cavity was not there, a hole was not there. Can you imagine that? That such a condition was there because the atoms were always there. See, murta dravyashetvam akashasya karyam. What the element akasha does is it accommodates a tangible or things with form. Tacha pralepi asti paramanu ashrayatvat. So Paramanus are always there according to them, therefore the Paramanus require space to exist. So Akasha must be there to accommodate this Paramanus even at time of Pralaya. So Akasha must be there. अतः न प्रागभावः इत्यर्थः. Therefore, we cannot arrive at the pragabhava, the prior non-existence of space. Therefore, another asambhava. Therefore, the space could not have been created. So, sthulashraya avakasha hai. Avakasha is sthulashraya, which accommodates all these tangible things with forms. Sukshmashraya hai. So, sukshmashraya chidram anvashraya. So, shiram, that which accommodates sukshma is called chidram, that which accommodates the atoms is called the sushiram. That's how they explain. Now we continue. The third reason given why Akasha could not have been created. So we can understand where the Vaisheshikas are coming from. Why do they say that the space is eternal? Because they cannot see how space could possibly be created. The conditions required for creation of space cannot be imagined to exist. So Ratnaprabha says in the fourth line, page 501, Kincha Atmavat Akasho न जायते विभुत्वात् अस्पर्श द्रव्यत्वात् च इति. किंच आत्मवत् आकाशो न जायते. They accept that Atma is not created. According to mind also is not created. So like space, just like self, just as Atma or the self is not created, similarly also space is not created. Why do you say Vibhutvat? Because space is all pervasive, Atma is all pervasive. So number one, Atma is not created, that is accepted. Now, Atma is all pervasive, that also is accepted. So whatever is all pervasive is not created. And space is all pervasive, therefore space also is not created. That's how the argument is. Atmavat. So, Atma na jayate. Atma is not born. And Atma is, that is accepted. And Atma is vibhu. Atma is all pervasive. Therefore, whatever is all pervasive is not born. And vibhutvas, space is all pervasive. Therefore, also space also is not born. Asparsha dravyatvacha. And also, nothing can touch Akasha. Akasha is untouchable, meaning cannot be touched. If you look at the Nyaya Nirnaya, Niravayava Dravyatvat, Asparsha Dravyatvat, Niravayava Dravyatvat. What's the nature of Akasha? Is Dravya, all right. But then, what kind of Dravya? Niravayavam, partless. Akasha does not consist of parts. Atma also is Niravayava. Then alone it can be Vibhu. Something, for something to be all pervasive, it must necessarily be partless. If it has parts, then it must be confined in space. So for something not to be confined in space, it must necessarily be without components. It cannot be an aggregate, it is partless. And second thing is, nothing should affect it. If something can affect it, then destruction can happen. See, these four elements, earth, water, fire and air, can affect each other. They can destroy each other. The air can destroy earth, fire also can destroy, water also can destroy. They are all sparsha dravya, means they are all subject to being contacted by something. But space cannot be destroyed by anything because nothing. So fire also cannot destroy space, earth cannot destroy space. It is indestructible and therefore uncreated. सो किंच आकाशो न जायते विभुत्वात् निरवयव द्रव्यत्वात् अस्पर्श द्रव्यत्वात् च. Three reasons are reasons are given why Akasha is not created. Vibhutvat, because it is all pervasive. Niravayava dravyatvat, it is a dravya which is partless. Without it is not an aggregate. Now earth is an aggregate thing, water also consists of drops, fire also, all these are consisting of atoms. Idea is asparsha dravyatvat, and it is not subject to being contacted or touch. Sanyoga is not possible for anything with Akasha. So that's what Bhashyakara says. पृथिव्यादि वैधर्म्याच्च विभुत्वादि लक्षणात् आकाशस्य अजत्व सिद्धिः. पृथिव्यादि वैधर्म्याच्च is dharma. Dharma of the Akasha is quite different from the dharma of other four elements, Prithvi, etc. Vibhutvadi lakshanat, because Akasha is all pervasive, any other four elements are not pervasive, they are confined to given space. Akashasya ajatva siddhi. Therefore also, so we know that Prithvi is created, water is created, fire is created, air is created, because they are created and they are not all pervasive. Whereas space is of a different class, it is all pervasive, therefore it does not possess the same dharma that other four elements possess. So other four elements are subject to being born. Akasha is ajaha, ajam, or ajaha, unborn. Akashasya ajatva siddhi. उक्त अनुमानानाम उत्पत्ति सिद्धि विरोधम आशंक्य तस्याः गौणतम दृष्टान्तम उपसंहरति. But all your anumana contradicts what the Shruti says that Akasha was created. Therefore, the Ekadeshi says, therefore the Shruti must be taken in the secondary sense. The anumana. So the creation, the birth of Akasha is denied on the basis of anumana. Although you cannot prove Shruti wrong on the basis of anumana, but asambhavad is anumana. The requisite causes are not available, that it does not have pragabha, prior non-existence, and it is partless and all pervasive. That being the case, these anumanas or these inferences establish that Akasha is unborn. But Ukta Anumananam Utpatti Shruti Virodham. But your Anumana or inferences, they go against what the Upanishad says that Akasha was created. Tasya Gaunatvam. Therefore, the Ekadeshi says, therefore, the Utpatti Shruti, the Shruti statement that talks of Utpatti of the space must be taken in the secondary sense, not in the primary sense. Because it Pramananta Virodhat, it contradicts the Anumana Pramanam. So Bhashyakara Tasmadeti. Tasmad Yatha Loke Akasham Kuru आकाशो जातः इति एवं जातीयकः गौणः प्रयोगो भवति यथा च घटाकाशः करकाकाशः गृहाकाशः इति एकस्यापि आकाशस्य एवं जातीयको भेदव्यपदेशः गौणो भवति वेदेपि आरण्यान् आकाशेषु आलभेरन् इति एवं उत्पत्तिश्रुतिरपि गौणी द्रष्टव्या। Tasmat, so now conclusion is that the Upanishad, the Shruti of the Taittiriya must be taken in a Gauna or a secondary sense. It's not unusual. Tasmat, yatha loke, just as in our day-to-day interaction. Akasham kuru, create the space, meaning give room, give accommodation. So Akasham kuru, create accommodation. Akasha jata, the room is given, so accommodation is given. Evam jatiyaka gauna prayogo bhavati. Even though Akasha can't be born, but still is a Akasho jata. When you construct a room, then room space is created. Or Akasham kuru, give him some room, give him some space. Then this fellow moves about aside. Like we are traveling in the train, then 6 people are already sitting on the bus, and then this 7th fellow, they somehow squeeze them in. So, Akasham, give him room. So you say, room is given, room is created. These are all secondary uses because this space is not created. So, एवं जातीय को गौण प्रयोग भवति यथा च घटाकाश करकाकाश सिस आलोकादिवत आकाशस्य प्रदेश भेदवत्वात् मुख्यम जन्मैत आशंक्य. Wait a minute. So whichever is confined to any place is always created. Akash also has confinement. Because Ghatakasha, Karakakasha, the space within a pot, the space within a pitcher, the space within a room. So therefore, space also is divided, is confined to space. So therefore, Pradesha Bhedavatvat Mukhyam Janma. So when space itself is confined to locations, then it must have the primary birth. Idashankya Janma Prayojaka Pradesha Vedasyapi Gaunatvam. Even looks like the Akasho Jataha. When a ghata or a pot is created, then pot space is born. When the room is created, room space is born. So there is no real birth. There is also the Gauna Prayoga or in a secondary sense. So Yathacha Ghatakasha, the space in a pot, Karakakasha, the space in a jar, Gruhakasha, the space in a house, iti Ekasyapi Akashasya, even though space is one, Evam Jatiyaka Bheda Vyapadesha Gauno Bhavati. Even then, Bheda Vyapadesha, the designating or uttering that the space is within the room, space is within the pot, space is within the jar. Everybody knows that space is not within them, they are all within space. And therefore, even though in our day-to-day interaction we do say the space in the room, space is created, space is in the room. But we know that space is not in the room. Room is in the space. So, otherwise that Bheda If the spaces were really different, then definitely they would have been created. Like the earth is, here and not there, confined. Then you know that it is created. Fire is here and not there, so it is confined. Water is here, not there, it is confined. Air is here, not there, confined. When that is there, definitely it is created. So then the space also is there within room, and space also is there within a pot. He says that is a Gauna Prayoga, that is a secondary usage and not the primary usage. लौकिक व्यपदेशस्य गौणत्वेपि वैदिक व्यपदेशस्य मुख्यत्वमेव. All right. So in the Laukika, in the day-to-day life, you are using these expressions in a secondary sense, but in the Vedas also, there are statements which appear to mean that the space is confined. So, what Veda says must be taken in a primary sense. So, to that, the Purva Pakshi said on the Vedepi, Purva means Ekadesh, Vedepi, Aranyan, Akasheshu, Alabherandati, Alabheran, the sacrifice, Akasheshu, in the spaces, Aranya, the forest animals. So, forest animals are sacrificed in spaces, Akasheshu, spaces. As though there are many spaces. So the word Akasha is used in plural. As though there are many spaces. But there also really many spaces are not there. Akasheshu iti Veda Vyapadesha Gauna. Even that Akasheshu, many spaces, that expression, many spaces, which seem to indicate that spaces are many, also is Gauna, is also in a secondary sense. So that's a Vedic udaharan. Evam Utpatti Shruti api Gauni Drishtavyā. Evam, in this manner also, when Upanishad says, Etasmad Atmana Akasha Sambhutah, from Atma the Akasha was born, that also should be taken in a Gauna secondary sense. In that case, what will happen? Then it does not contradict the Chandogya Shruti, which is primary. That means that there is no contradiction among the Shrutis. Therefore, the Shruti is Pramanyam. So that way, this Ekadeshi is helping us by establishing the Pramanyam of the Shruti. But the way he is doing it, he is hurting us. He is helping us in one way. But then, the way he is doing us, he gives reality to space. And that way, he is establishing the Pramanyam. We want to say that no, space is mithya. And therefore, the creation is not to be taken in a primary sense. Srushti Stuti, all of this is merely, is only the Arthavada. It is only meant to establish the non-duality of Brahman. And therefore, there is no order, and there is no sequence, and there is no consistency as far as the description of the creation is concerned. It is not because the Upanishad Shrutis contradict each other, it is because the Tatparya is not there. Upanishad does not have Tatparya, does not have the intended meaning of conveying the real creation. This is only to show that creation is mithya and Brahma is Satyam. This is the Vedantin's argument. This argument supports the consistency, but then it is based on giving reality to Srishti, therefore it is not total Vedanta, therefore Vedanta Ekadeshi. Then says Ratnaprabha further, न केवलम तर्काद आकाशस्य अनुत्पत्ति किंतु श्रुतितोपि इतिहास सूत्रकारः. सेम एकदेशी कंटिन्यूस. न केवलम तर्कात आकाशस्य अनुत्पत्ति. आकाशस्य अनुत्पत्ति. That the space is not created is not merely by tarka or the reasoning, kintu shrutitah api. Even there are statements in the Shruti, in the Vedas, which seem to indicate that Akasha is unborn, is birthless, or therefore is not created. Therefore, says the next sutra, Shabdacha. Shabdacha. Cha means api. Shabdad api. What it should mean is Shabdad api, even because of the Shabda. What is Shabda? Shabda means the Shruti statement. Understand? Vayuscha antarikshaidam amrutam ityadi shrutau. At one point in time, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that Vayu also is immortal, space also is immortal. Akashe Amruta Shabda Darshanat. Therefore, we find the word Amruta, immortal, being used for the Akasha also. Therefore, no Akashasya Utpatti. Therefore, Akasha is not created. So, further argument. And if Akasha is not created, then the Shruti describes the creation of Akasha must be taken in the secondary sense. Tadvyachaste, Bhashyakara explains the sutra. Shabda khalo akashasya ajatvam khyapayate. So Shabdacha is explained. Shabda khalo akashasya ajatvam khyapayate. That's the meaning of that sutra. This is hetu. As far as the pratigna is concerned, it is continued. Na viyat is a pratigna. Then gauni asambhavat. Then shabdacha. So na viyat utpadyate shabdacha. Because of shabdadapi, because of shabda also. Shabda khalu akashasya ajatvam khyapayati. Shabda meaning the words or the statements of the Upanishad also khyapayati. It declares or reveals the ajatvam, the birthlessness of space. Says, what is the Shabda? Yatah aha vayuscha antarikshamcha idam amrutam iti. Yatah, because the Shruti says, vayuscha antarikshamcha idam amrutam. This vayu and antariksham in space are amrutam, immortal. Then says in Nyaya, Amrutatvam eva shruvate natu anutpatti. The Upanishad says that the space is immortal. That does not mean it is not created. So, Upanishad, the Shabda, you say Shabdacha because of the statement of Upanishad. But Shruti doesn't say that it is not created. Shruti says that Akasha is Amrutam, immortal. It doesn't say not created. So Vashyakara says, Nahi amrutasya utpattihi upapadyate. Amrutasya utpattihi nahi upapadyate. Certainly, what is immortal cannot have birth. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityuhu. So whatever is born will definitely perish. For something to be imperishable, it must also not have birth. Therefore, it is indicated that space does not have birth. This is called Arthapatti, Shrutyarthapatti. So Shruti does not say Akash is unborn, but Shruti says Akash is immortal. Therefore, Arthapatti. By presumption, then you arrive at this. It could not have been immortal had it been born. You know? And so, Anyatha Anupatti. It cannot be born. It cannot. The Shruti would not have said Amrutam immortal had Akasha been born. Therefore, Akasha is birthless. So, by Arthapatti, we arrive at this conclusion: Akasha is birthless. Shruta Arthapatti Anantaramaha. Another Arthapatti is also being stated: Akasha Vaditi. Akashavat Sarvagatasya Nityah. इति च आकाशेन ब्रह्म सर्वगतत्व नित्यत्वाभ्याम धर्माभ्याम उपमिमानः आकाशस्यापि तौ धर्मौ सूचयति न च तादृशस्य उत्पत्ति ही उपपद्यते. So another Shruti is quoted. Akashavat sarvagatasya nityah. Shvetashvata Upanishad. So Atma is nityah. Akashavat sarvagatasya nityah. Akasha is presented there as upama, as an illustration for illustrating the nature of Atma. That Atma is nityah. सर्वगतः नित्यः. आकाश इज आत्मा इज सर्वगतः. आत्मा इज ऑल परवेजिंग. आकाश ऑल परवेसिव लाइक स्पेस. आकाश इज नित्य इटर्नल लाइक स्पेस. सो आकाश जस्ट स्पेस इज ऑल परवेसिव and space is eternal, so also Atma is all pervasive, Atma is eternal. By that statement, iti Akashena Brahma Sarvagatatva Nityatvaabhyam Dharmabhyam Upamimana. So, Shruti gives the Upama, the comparison of Brahma with Akasha. Brahma is known as Sarvagatam. And so the Upanishad seems to say that Akasha and Brahma possess similar attributes. Brahma is all pervasive and eternal. Akasha also is. So, in order to illustrate the all pervasiveness of Brahma and eternality of Brahma, Akasha is presented as an example. To illustrate how Brahma is all pervasive, like Akash is all pervasive, Brahma is all pervasive. How Brahma is eternal, like Akash is eternal, Brahma is eternal. That means that all pervasiveness and eternality of Akash are established. Then only you can present them as Upama. So Akashena Brahma Upamimana. So when the Shabda which gives the Upama, the comparison of Akasha with Brahma or Brahma with Akasha, Sarvagatatva Nityatvaabhyam Dharmabhyam, Akasha possesses Sarvagatatvam, all pervasiveness, Nityatvam, eternality. Upamana Akashasyapi Tau Dharmo Suchayati. So this Shabda also Suchayati indicates that Akasha also possesses these two dharma, Sarvagatatvam, all pervasiveness, and Nityatvam, being eternal. Tathapi Katham Anutpatti. All right. Suppose Akasha is all pervasive. Suppose Akasha is Nitya. For what is, how does it mean that he is not born? So it's by Arthapatti again. So Bhashyakara said, Nacha Tadrushasya Utpatti Upapadyate. What is all pervasive and what is eternal cannot be born. If something is born, it can be confined only to space and time. If something is born, it will perish also. For something not be confined in space, should not be born. Something eternal should not be born. Tadanutpattu vakyam abhimanam. Then for anutpatti, the non-creation of space, other vakya also becomes pramanam. Or as the Ratnavadi, nitya bhavasya anaditvaditi bhava. So akashvat sarvagatasya nitya. Nitya must necessarily be anadi or beginningless. Bhashyakara further says, स यथा अनंतोयमाकाशः एवं अनंत आत्मा वेदितव्यः इति च उदाहरणम् आकाश शरीरं ब्रह्म आकाश आत्मा इति च से रत्नप्रभा इति च यह उदाहरणम इतन्वयः. So three udaharanam. So three illustrations are given. These three statements are given again to show how Akasha could not have been born. So yatha anantoyam Akasha, just as I am Akasha, this space Ananta is infinite. Does not have Anta, is boundless or infinite. Evam Ananta Atma Veditavya. And similarly also, Atma must be known as Ananta, having no end. So also, to explain how Atma is Ananta, the example of space is given. That means Anantyam, the infiniteness of the space is already accepted, and Atma is infinite like space is. Akasha Shariram Brahma. What is Brahma? Brahman is Akasha as a Shariram. Brahma is space as the body. Akasha Atma. Akasha is the Atma of the self. Iti cha. So Akasha is Atma and Akasha Shariram Brahma. Brahma is Akasha Shariram. Iti cha. All of these are the Udaharanam. There are illustrations which clearly say that Akasha is all pervasive, is infinite, is immortal, is unborn. Therefore unborn. Nowhere it is said Akash is Ajam, you know. So none of these Shrutis seem to say Akash is Ajam. But Anantam, Nityam, Vibhu. And that way, by Arthapatti, it could not be Vibhu, could not be Ananta, could not be Nitya. Had it been born, therefore it is unborn. That is how, by Arthapatti, we arrive at this conclusion that these Shrutis mean to say that the space does not have beginning or birth. Says Nyaya Nirnay, Adi Madhya Avasana Vaidhuryam Anantyam. Anantoyam Akasha. So Akash Ananta, what is Ananta? Infinite. Means what? Adi Madhyanta. So Adi Madhya Avasana Vaidhuryam. Which does not have Adi or Madhya or Avasana. No beginning, no middle, no end. Then only it's called Anantam. Tat Akashasya Adimatve na upadyeta. If Akash had a beginning, it could not be without beginning, middle and end. Atmanobi tat prasangat, because evam ananta atma veditavya, atma also will become with beginning, etc. So Akash also could not have. Kincha Neelam Utpalam Akashena Brahmano Visheshanam Drishtam. Just as Neelam Utpalam, a blue lotus, blue is a Visheshanam, the attribute of lotus. Similarly also we find Brahmana Akashana Visheshanam Drishtam, that Brahma is qualified by Akasha. So Akasha Shariram Brahma, tad Akashasya Anupapattimatvam Sadhayati Akasha Shariram Brahma or Akasha Atma. says Jnana Akashasya Utpattimatvepi Tena Brahmano Visheshanatvam Kim Nasyat. The argument is that Brahman is without Utpatti. Brahman is beginningless. But then Akasha need not, for Akasha to be the Visheshanam, the attribute of Brahman, why should Akasha also be beginningless? Even if Akasha is an Utpatti, why cannot Akasha become the Visheshanam, the attribute of Brahman? Just a question. Tashanka Bahuvrihinam Tadatma Avagamat. But Bahuvrihi Samasa, you find Tadatma, the identification of Akasha and Brahma. What is Bahuvrihi? See, Ratnaprabha, last word, Akasha Shariram Asyeti Akasha Shariram Brahma. Akasha Shariram Asyeti Akasha Shariram. Iti Bahuvrihina Atyanta Samya Bhanat. So by this Bahuvrihi Samasa, it is very clear that Atyanta Samyam, there is a total similarity between Akasha and Brahma. Brahmavat Akashasya Anaditvam. Therefore, since Brahman is Anadi, Akasha also is Anadi, because Akasha is extremely similar to Brahman. Akasha Shariram Yasyatad Brahma. So Bhashyakara says, Nahi Akashasya Utpattimatve Brahmanaha Tena Visheshanam Sambhavati Nilena Iva Utpalasya. Nahi Akashasya Utpattimatve. If Akasha was Utpattimat, or Utpattiman, if Akasha was possessed of being created, a beginning, meaning if Akasha had a birth or was created, Brahmana Tena Visheshanam Nahi Sambhavati, then a thing, Brahman is birthless. If Akasha is Utpattimat, then it cannot become the Visheshanam, because Visheshana, Vishesha should be similar. Nilene Utpalasya. That Nila and Utpala can go together. But then birthless and then the born cannot go together. If Akasha had birth, it could not be Visheshana of Brahman, which is birthless. Shabda Samartham, Samartham Upasamharati. And so, what is established on the strength, on the base, Samarthi is Arthapatti. So, what is established on the base of Arthapatti by the Shruti Shabda is now concluded here, says the last sentence. Tasmat Nityameva Akashena Sadharanam Brahma Itagamyate. So from these statements, it is clear that Akash and Brahma are very similar. So Akash Nityameva Akashena Sadharanam Brahma. Brahma or Akasha is always similar to Brahman. In every way similar to Brahman. And Brahma is birthless ever, Akasha is birthless. So this is how it is established that Akasha is not born. Says Anandagiri, Sambhuta Shabdam Adhikritya Sambhavita Shankam Uchchinati. Tasmadva etasmad atmana akasha sambhuta. Very clear. Sambhuta means was born. So then, how can you say that Akasha is not born? Akasha sambhuta. Akasha is born. Or, interesting thing is that tasmadva etasmad atmana. Now this person says Gauni bhavitum arhati. that Akasha Sambhava, the creation of Akasha, must be understood in a secondary sense, meaning that Akash Sambhutah, the Ekadeshi established that Sambhutah, this word Akash was born, should be taken in a secondary sense, not in a primary sense. If Akasha is not born, then Upanishad says Akasha Sambhutah, Akasha is born. That means that born must be taken in a secondary sense. So that is now a question. Sambhuta Shabdam Adhikritya Sambhavetam Ashankam Uchyanati. Hey, you are interpreting the word Sambhuta, born, in a secondary sense. Now that will bring about some difficulties. So the doubts that can arise because of taking the word Sambhuta in a secondary sense, those doubts are resolved in the next sutra. So, this Sambhutaha, it was born. That word is interpreted in a secondary sense. As though born means not born. But that will bring about some of the problems or doubts, which doubts are resolved in the next sutra. Syaditi. स्याच्च एकस्य ब्रह्म शब्दवत् एकस्य शब्दस्य संभूतः. So ब्रह्म शब्दवत्. So what? Same word can have secondary meaning. The idea is that same word can have, the problem will be, listen, Akasha sambhutah, Akashad vayoho. So vayu sambhutah, vayo agnihi, agnihi sambhutah. That goes, Now that means sambhuta word appears 5 times. Now you are accepting the creation of vayu, agni, apa, prithvi, meaning that in those 4 cases, sambhuta means sambhuta. They accept that vayu is born, fire is born, so therefore in those 4 cases, sambhuta is in a primary sense, but because akasha in a secondary sense. So in one sentence, how can you say sambhuta is in secondary sense in one case, in the beginning, and later on it's in a secondary case, secondary sense? He says that is possible. Brahma Shabdavat, because Brahma also is used in the same passage in a primary sense and secondary sense. Yatha ekasmineva prakarane, in one prakaranam, annam brahma idyatra brahma shabdo gaunah. Annam brahmeti vijanat, prano brahmeti vijanat, mano brahmeti vijanat, vijnanam brahmeti vijanat, anando brahmeti vijanat. So first 4 cases, so annam brahma, all in a secondary sense. Anando brahmeti, that is the primary sense. So how in the same prakarana, same section, the word brahma is used in a secondary sense as well as in a primary sense, so also in the same section, word sambhuta can be used in a secondary sense as well as primary sense. So this is how the doubts now is start. So Bhashyakara says, idam padottaram sutram. Padottaram says Nyayana, pada vishaya chodyottaram idam sutram. Pada vishaya chodya uttaram. Pada is word, sambhutah. So one word sambhuta, that taking that in a secondary sense, chodyam, that brings about various doubts. And this is the sutra or the aphorism that is meant as resolving those doubts which arise because of that word. So pada uttaram. That word, sambhuta, to be taken in a secondary sense, brings about variety of doubts. And this sutra is in answer to those doubts. Says Padottaram, says Ratnabhava, Shankottaramiti. It replies different Shankas. तानेव शंकापदानि पठति. So what are those doubts? Now Bhashyakara reiterates them one by one. Syadetatiti. So Bhashya says, Syadetat katham punaha ekasya sambhuta shabdasya tasmad vai etasmad atmanah आकाश संभूतः इति अस्मिन् अधिकारे परेषु तेजः प्रभृतिषु अनुवर्तमानस्य मुख्यत्वं संभवति. आकाशे च गौणत्वमिति. कथम पुनः एकस्य संभूत शब्दस्य. The word संभूत is one. तस्माद् वा एतस्मात् आत्मनः आकाश संभूतः. From Atma the Akasha is born. इति अस्मिन् अधिकार. अधिकार means prakarane. In this particular prakarana means section describing creation. Pareshu teja prabhushu. Paresh means later on. So those which occur later on, like Teja. So Vayo, Agni, Agnehe, Apaha, Advya. Teja because Chandogya mentions Teja, therefore. So Teja means those which occur later on. Anuvartamanasya Mukhyatvam. Anuvartaman, there is Anuvartaman, Anuvritti. Akasha Sambhutaha, Vayu Sambhutaha. That word Sambhuta must be carried through. It's called Anuvritti. So anuvartamanasya mukhyatvam sambhavati. But you are accepting that Vayu, Agni, Apaha, or as this person said that Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad, that birth is in a primary sense that you are accepting. So there the word Sambhuta is taken in primary sense. Mukhyatvam sambhavati. Akashe cha gaunatvam. But the word Sambhuta mentioned with reference to Akasha is taken in secondary sense. How can it be? In the same section, how can one word have these two kinds of meanings, primary and secondary? Ataha uttaram uchyade. Therefore, the uttara is given. What is it? Says Ratnaprabha, Yatha ekasmin brahma prakarane annam brahma anando brahma iti vakyayoho brahma shabdasya anne gaunatvam anande mukhyata. Yatha ekasmin prakarane, in the Bhriguvalli, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, annam brahma iti vijanat. That is, Brahma is secondary. Anando brahmeti vijanat. The word is in the primary sense. Iti vakyayo brahma shabdasya anne gaunatvam anande mukhyata. Thus in the two vakyas, the word Brahma with reference Anna is in the secondary sense, with reference Ananda it is in the primary sense. Tatha ekavakyastasya ekasyapi sambhuta shabdasya. Similar word Sambhuta which obtains in one vakya, in one passage. Guna mukhyartha bheda yogyata balad. So therefore, guna mukhyartha bheda, bheda is there. One case guna, other is mukhya. In case of the Ayu, Akasha is Gauna. Other cases, Mukhya, that Bheda can be there. So you find that kind of usage elsewhere. Find it then, here also it is possible. Ityas Syatcha, the Bhashyakara says, Syatcha ekasyapi sambhuta shabdasya विषय विशेष वशात गुणः मुख्यश्च प्रयोगो ब्रह्म शब्दवत्. So that is the explanation of sutra. स्याच्च एकस्य ब्रह्म शब्दवत्. So shat, syach, ekasya means ekasyapi sambhuta shabdasya. Sutra only says ekasya of one. In this particular case, ekasya sambhuta shabdasya of the word sambhuta, which is one. Vishay visheshavashat gauna. So Brahma Shabda Vishay visheshavashat. Because Vishaya, the objects are different, and therefore the same word can have different meanings with reference to different objects. Gauno mukhyasya prayoga Brahma Shabdavat. So depending upon what the word Sambhuta refers to, it can have Gauna or Mukhya, secondary and primary meaning is possible. Brahma Shabdavat, like what Brahman is only one, but means secondary and primary with reference to different objects. So Bhashyakara says, Yatha ekasyapi Brahma Shabdasya tapasa Brahma vijijñāsasva tapo Brahma iti asmin adhikare annādishu gaunah prayogah ānande ca मुख्यः. यथा एकस्यापि ब्रह्म शब्दस्य, जैसे ब्रह्म शब्दवत्, like the word Brahma. So what does it mean? यथा एकस्यापि ब्रह्म शब्दस्य, the word Brahma is only one still. तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व. We know Brahman by tapas. So that word Brahman is the primary sense. Tapasa Brahma vijijñāsasva, word Brahma is the primary sense. Tapo Brahmeti. Then says tapasa Brahma vijijñāsasva, tapo Brahmeti. Right. Tapas itself is Brahman, but that word Brahman is secondary sense. Tapas means alochanam, deliberation, reflection, contemplation. That the word Brahma is the sadhanam. In the secondary sense. Idasmin adhikare, in the same prakaranam, annādishu gaunah prayoga ānandecha mukhyah. Annam brahmeti vijanat, prano brahmeti vijanat, mano brahmeti vijanat, vijnanam brahmeti vijanat. In all the four cases, annādishu gaunam, meaning is secondary. Anando brahmeti vijanat ānandecha mukhyah. And Ananda, it is mukhya. Udaharanantaramaha. So, another udaharana is given, Yathacha iti, Bhashyakara says. Yathacha tapasi brahma vijnana sadhane brahma shabdaha bhaktya prayujyate anjasatu vigneya brahmani tadvata. So tapo brahme, tato tapo brahmeti. So yatha tapasi, tapasi is what? Contemplation. Without brahma vijnana sadhane, contemplation is the sadhanam, the means of knowledge of Brahman. So contemplation or tapas is not Brahman. It is the means of Brahman. But there also the word Brahma is employed. So tapasi Brahma vijnana sadhane Brahma shabda bhaktya prayujyate. Bhaktya means gaunya vritya. So word Brahman is employed there in a secondary sense. Anjasa means what? Mukhya vritya. In a primary sense to Vigneya Brahmani. So tapasa Brahma vijijñāsasva. May you seek to know Brahman by tapas. So there Brahman is what? Vigneya. So there Brahman is something to be known. So Vigneya Brahmani Mukhya. So in the Brahman, which is to be known, that word Brahman is used in a primary sense, where tapas, which is the means of knowledge, that word Brahman is in a secondary sense. So how you find one word Brahma in a primary sense and secondary sense, same context. Similarly also, the one word Sambhuta can be in a primary and secondary sense in different objects. So that's how the word Sambhuta, the usage is explained. The further doubts are coming up, we'll see it next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.